Okay, so let's start with the today's newspaper analysis. Can you all see the newspaper on your screen now? Someone is not muted. Can you please mute yourself? Is newspaper visible to all of you on your screen? I'm audible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. Fine. So Khalistani terror outfit chief Nijar, one of India's most wanted, have been killed in Canada. So as we have discussed in the last 4-5 months that Khalistani movement was one of the internal security challenge. In fact, it had become one of the most serious internal security challenge for 4 to 5 months back when a person called I don't remember the person's name. He has directly challenged the government of India. So the chief of this Khalistani terror outfit have been killed in Canada, and we all know that majority of the people who have been migrated from India to Canada, Sikh community is one of the community which has migrated a lot to Canada, and many sympathizers of the Khalistani movement are also settled in Canada. So that's what you can see that he was in Canada and he has been killed by the maybe their authorities, the Canadian authorities. So just read this article. As a UPSC aspirant, you just need to know that Khalistani movement is one of the serious internal security threat and serious internal security challenge in India. So what is this Khalistani movement and what is the background of this Khalistani movement? Why this movement has been started? Who has started this movement? That's what you need to go and check it out today in ChatGPT. तो आज लिख लीजिए, आज आपको चेक करना है what is Khalistan movement. You need to know the background. UPSC may not ask you the questions on the direct question on what is the Khalistani movement, etc. But since it is one of the internal security challenge, you need to know what exactly is the problem about the. Is it clear? So he was wanted by NIA. What is NIA? Any idea about it? Anyone knows what is NIA? Let me mention here that he was wanted by NIA and Punjab Police. So what is NIA?
Sir, National Investigation Agency.
So today we will go and check it out that also. What is NIA? What is the mandate given to the NIA and when NIA has been established? Got it? In GS paper 3, there is one topic. The last topic of GS paper 3 is various security agencies in India and their mandate. तो उसमें ये टॉपिक आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा. दो टॉपिक, एक है इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस में खालिस्तान मूवमेंट एंड सेकंड टॉपिक इज various internal security challenges in India. So what various internal security agencies in India and NIA is one such agency. तो आज डिटेल में आपको देखना है कि NIA क्यों बनाया गया था, कब बनाया गया था, NIA क्या पावर दी है. And recently there was some issues related to the misuse of NIA power, which state government का ये एक्शन था. NIA were being misused by the central government. That also. Yeah.
So your voice is fluctuating.
Is it clear now?
Yes, now clear, sir.
Okay. You understood what you need to study with respect to NIA? Okay, now let's go to the next page. Expired medicine and oxygen audits flagship bag gaps in Bihar's ambulance services. तो बिहार में जो एम्बुलेंस सर्विस दिया जा रहा है उस एम्बुलेंस सर्विसेज में एक्सपायर्ड मेडिसिन है एंड ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई.
So your voice is not clear.
Is it clear now?
Yes, now clear, sir.
Okay. So as per the audit which has been held in Bihar Health Services, you can see here that expired medicine and there is no oxygen found in the Bihar's ambulance services. So yesterday we have seen that providing health facilities or health services is the responsibility of the union government or it is the responsibility of the state government. That's what we have already discussed. So here you can see that Indian Express has investigated and it has been found that in those ambulances, the free ambulances which have been provided to the people of that state, there are no medicines or there are expired medicines and there is no oxygen. So yesterday हमने ये भी देखा था कि problem of the health sector that rather than having preventive cure, we are having what? We are having, the other types of cure in health sector that was explained in yesterday's question paper, which I have discussed. So this is one of the important problem with respect to the development and management of health sector in India. ये point आपको add करना है GS paper 2 health sector वाले chapter में. If you are making notes for mains exam, and I'm very sure no one has started making notes. Fine. So
I have
Prime
started,
Minister
sir.
leaves. Very good, sir. Prime Minister Modi leaves for US today. Focus on meeting with Biden and closer ties with defense. So you see that few days back, Rahul Gandhi has visited US, but he has visited US as opposition leader. Now, Prime Minister Modi will visit it officially as the Prime Minister of India. So meetings will be held with the America's President Biden, and he will be trying to have more and more closer ties with US with respect to defense cooperation, because we know in India-US bilateral relationship, defense cooperation is one of the major aspects of the bilateral relationship between India and US. US is helping India a lot with respect to our defense preparedness, our defense, the technologies. There are so many agreements have been signed between India and US with respect to the defense. तो उसको ही strengthen करने के लिए हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर जा रहे हैं to US. So once the meeting is over, again there will be news that what agreement have been signed, what fresh agreements have been signed, what new agreements have been signed between India and US. That we will see later. But just remember that PM Modi is visiting to US today. Yeah, there is one more news with respect to the Manipur violence and in the violence in the Imphal. Security forces look after buffer zones on fringes of Imphal Valley to check the mob. तो mob वहाँ पे जो violent mob है उसको रोकने के लिए security forces are trying to create buffer zone in the Imphal Valley. That is what is mentioned here. So just read this article that how security forces are trying to bring back the normalcy in Manipur. Now let's move on to the next page. WhatsApp का एक advertisement है. Messages privately with multiple layers of protection. So we all know that the social media platform like WhatsApp, Facebook, जब से आए हैं उससे सबसे एक बड़ा great challenge है data privacy and as well as right to privacy. So the messages which are sent via WhatsApp, they have been protected by multiple layers as per the Meta, which owns the WhatsApp. Self-regulation and self-protection is again one of the very, very important aspect of the data privacy. That's what you can see here. That there are many initiatives are taken by WhatsApp itself, so that the data and the messages can be kept, private with the help of various such technologies and various such, the protection layers. That's what you can see here. तो ये point आपको ध्यान में रखना है. And if any question is been asked in mains exam with respect to the data protection or data privacy, we can give the example of WhatsApp. I think today is International Yoga Day. Today or tomorrow? I think it is tomorrow. 21st June is the International Yoga Day. तो उससे selected advertisement दिए हुए हैं. So just check it out. Yoga has become one of the soft power of India at an international level. Many countries in the world nowadays follows yoga. So this is one such, the soft power of India, which you can showcase the India's prowess to the world by giving, yoga classes. So Meitei MLAs put up show of strength in Delhi. We all know that in Manipur, the violence which is happening in Manipur between Meitei group and Koki group, these are the two tribal communities. So the MLAs who belongs to the Meitei tribe, they put up their strength in Delhi, and in this way, the violence in Manipur is being resolved. As I have discussed yesterday also, whenever such type of violence is there, it is very important to sit on the table to have a dialogue, to discuss with them, to understand what are their aspirations, to understand what are their demands, what they exactly want. Then only you can resolve such type of violence. So that's what is happening here. That Union Home Minister, sorry, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh with the Meitei MLA from Manipur in New Delhi to understand what their problems are. So they seek territorial integrity and centers exit from SOO Pact. तो ये SOO Pact नाम का एक पैक्ट वहां से सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को एग्जिट होने के लिए उन्होंने कहा है, and have also seek the territorial integrity. And here there will be one more statement given by the CM. Stop or there will be consequences. That's what the Manipur CM after shoulder shot at. That's what you can see here. So violence in Manipur is not stopping. Yesterday we have seen that there was one author who said that CM is responsible for the violence in Manipur, and that is why the central government should take appropriate action against the CM. So that which is not happening. Now let's move on to the next page. A guest from Vietnam. President Draupadi Murmu meets Vietnam Defense Minister General Phan Van Ngam at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. We all know that Vietnam is a bordering nation for India. We do have a very good relations with Vietnam. So he has visited India and visited to India's president. Telangana is at the top at paddy production. That is what is said by Telangana's Chief Minister. Was there any article with respect to paddy in yesterday's newspaper?
Yes, sir. Direct seeding of rice.
Yes, direct seeding of rice. Okay, just give me a second. Fine. So Telangana state, as I've already इससे पहले भी मैंने आपको बताया था कि Telangana is one of the fast growing state in India, especially in agriculture sector. And once it become a separate state, then the developmental activities in Telangana has been so rapid that the human development index of Telangana has increased tremendously. So that's what you can see that Telangana at the top in paddy production. That's what KCR has said, who is the Chief Minister of Telangana. So please it's article to understand that how the Telangana has been able to produce a good amount of paddy production. Uniform Civil Code. 4 to 5 days back, I have asked you to go and check it out. What is Uniform Civil Code? So BJP is testing the waters, but may not take plunge yet. So BJP test कर रहा है कि what will be the response of the people, what will be the reaction of the people if they declare that Uniform Civil Code will be introduced in India. So that's what is mentioned here, that कि BJP just testing the waters, but may not take the plunge yet. मतलब और समय लेंगे, वो इतनी जल्दी अभी implement नहीं करेंगे. Can anybody tell me what are the hindrances or what are the inhibitions for implementing the Uniform Civil Code in India? Although the Constitution of India had given a direction in DPSP that state shall try to or state shall endeavor to bring the Uniform Civil Code throughout the territory of India. But why? What are the reasons? What are the hindrances? क्या ऐसे बाधाएं हैं कि जिसकी वजह से यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड को अब तक लागू नहीं किया जा गया है इंडिया में?
So large number of diverse ethnic groups.
Okay. So lessons from the Manipur unrest. That's what you can see here. That there is a misconception among majority of the population in the country that the Uniform Civil Code will bring only Muslim community at the uniform level. It's not like that. As per the Uniform Civil Code, all the tribal communities, all the religious communities, including Sikh, Christian, then Buddhism. All of them may have to follow the uniform civil code in India. So, as we all know that in India there are more than 50,000 tribal communities in India, and every tribal community have their own tradition of marriage, own tradition of on the divorce, own tradition of inheritance of property, etc. Because uniform civil code is all about personal laws, it's not about the criminal laws. So personal laws mean how to get married, how to get divorced, and how to inherit the property. ये जो laws है इंडिया में, ये as per their religious belief और as per their cultural belief उसके हिसाब से है. So Constitution of India intends to bring uniformity in that. It means that uniform civil code का मतलब क्या होता है कि every citizen in India they will follow the common civil law. And common civil law का मतलब क्या होगा? Like common marriage practice, common the inheritance of the property practice, common the divorce practice, common adoption procedure, etc. तो ये पूरी इंडिया में यूनिफॉर्म लाना इसलिए मुश्किल है because every community have their own belief, their own faith with respect to marriage, with respect to divorce, with respect to inheritance of property, and with respect to the divorce adoption of the children. Is it clear? And that is the reason that's why uniform civil code is still not being implemented in India, because there is no consensus among the Indian citizens that what should be the way, what that uniform way. मतलब uniform का मतलब होगा कि everybody needs to follow the same procedure of getting married, same procedure of getting divorced, same procedure of getting property from the parents to the children. So that is why still in India, the uniform civil code is not implemented. So that's what you can see that in Mizoram, another state that will go to the polls few months, Assembly earlier this year passed unanimous resolution opposing any move to implement UCC. तो मिजोरम एक ऐसा स्टेट है नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया में जहां की असेंबली में रेजोल्यूशन पास किया गया है against UCC, because majority of the northeastern states they don't want uniform civil code. So it's not like that ki only Muslim oppose the uniform civil code. The uniform civil code is opposed by many tribal communities, and it is also been opposed by the other religious communities like Buddhism, Sikhism, Christianity, etc. So that's what you can see here. The resolution said that the resolution which has been passed in Mizoram, that any steps taken to propose, any steps taken or proposed to be taken for the enactment of UCC in India will terminate religious and social practices, cultures, and traditions of minorities. So given the ethnic fires in Manipur, the government will not risk any move that could further still ट्राइबल फियर इन द नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया. मतलब नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया के ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज हैं उनमें अगर इस तरीके से अगर कोई फियर अगर क्रिएट हो जाता है ये यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने की वजह से रिलीजियस सोशल प्रैक्टिसेस कल्चर्स एंड ट्रेडिशंस जो है वो टर्मिनेट हो जाएंगे, तो गवर्नमेंट विल नॉट टेक दिस डिसीजन. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज मेंशन्ड दैट कि बीजेपी जस्ट टेस्टिंग द वाटर्स but not taking it will not take the decision. So as a UPSC aspirant, what you need to know that what is uniform civil code, how uniform civil code is different than the criminal procedure code in India, and what are the parts of the uniform civil code. जब हम uniform civil code जब हम implement करेंगे तो exactly which the aspect will bring the uniformity. मतलब कौन सी चीजों में uniformity आएगी और क्या उन चीजों में यूनिफॉर्मिटी लाना इंडिया में पॉसिबल है. That's what you need to know as a UPSC aspirant. Now let's move on to the next page. Heat wave is again one of the important disasters in India, especially North India. So disaster and disaster management में आपको add करना है कि what are the different disasters which occurs in India along with cyclone. Heat waves are also one of the important disasters which happens regularly and periodically in the summer in the North India. तो कैसे इसको रोका जा सकता है, कैसे इसको किया जा सकता है, that's what you can see here. Now today's editorial with respect to the Prime Minister's visit to the Washington, that is America. It is going to be a landmark journey. So Prime Minister Modi's visit to Washington is a culmination of new Indian clarity and pragmatism in dealing with US. तो पिछले कुछ दिनों से we are dealing with US in a different way, in a new way. So this is going to be the culmination of new Indian clarity and pragmatism in dealing with US. So by reading this article, you will come to know that how India is dealing with US in the new way. So please, the whole article in the background of India's Prime Minister visit to USA. So by reading this article, we come to know that how the India-US bilateral relationship is changing over a period of time. In the hot seat, reports of Paris Pact threshold being temporarily breached should lead to the greater focus on adapting the climate change. GS paper 3 topic, global warming, climate change, pollution, etc. तो पेरिस पैक्ट में जो भी एग्री किया गया था, उसमें जो थ्रेशोल्ड एग्री किया गया था, that is being temporarily breached, and that's why it has been mentioned that it should lead to the greater focus on adapting the climate change. Climate change के साथ में adapt करने के लिए focus करना चाहिए. That's what is mentioned here. Anyone knows what is the meaning of adaptation? Ecology and ecosystem. Yes. तो ग्लोबल वार्मिंग तो कम होने वाला नहीं है, क्लाइमेट चेंज तो छूटने वाला नहीं है, या क्लाइमेट चेंज तो रुकने वाला नहीं है. तो अभी हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? We need to adapt according to the new climate. For example, like there are delay in the monsoon in India, there is early arrival of the monsoon in India, heavy rainfall in India. Now, these are the different, the impacts of the climate change. तो इंडिया में ट्रेडिशनली जो खेती की जाती थी, that was according to the way the monsoon was behaving, or 10 years back. But we know that in the last decade, the monsoon behavior has been changed. So जिस समय में बारिश होना चाहिए था, उस समय में बारिश नहीं हो रहा है, और जब नहीं होना चाहिए था, उस समय में बारिश हो रहा है. So these are the changes in the climate. So the people, especially the farmers, those who are practicing agriculture, they need to adapt, they need to adjust themselves as per the change in the climate. So that is what is called as, there need to be a greater focus on adapting to climate change if we are not able to reduce the, the carbon emission as per the target of Paris Pact. I hope you people know what was Paris Pact, why it was signed, and what were the targets of the Paris Pact, what were the, you can say the commitments of the various developed and developing and underdeveloped countries as per the Paris Pact. अगर नहीं है तो आज जाकर बेसिक में देखेंगे कि what is Paris Pact and what are the various threshold, what are the various, हम क्या कहेंगे, कमिटमेंट तो नहीं बट टारगेट है कुछ कि कितना कार्बन एमिशन हमें कम करना है, कितना ग्लोबल वार्मिंग हमें कम करना है, कितना टेम्परेचर हमें कम करना है. All these have been threshold have been put by the Paris Pact. But it has been found that this threshold have been breached. No country is following the Paris Pact, and that is why Paris Pact agreements, and that is why we need to adapt ourselves with respect to the climate change. Now let's move on to the next page. Manoj Kumar Jha has written an article on Nehru. GS paper 1 में topic है post independence consolidation in India. So one of the important contribution of the Jawaharlal Nehru was, he played a great important role in post independent consolidation. Just along with Sardar Patel, along with Vallabhbhai Patel, it was Nehru who has had a great contribution with respect to the post independent consolidation in India. So उसी कंटेक्स्ट में हम मनोज कुमार झा का आर्टिकल देखेंगे जो राज्यसभा के मेंबर हैं. पिछले कुछ सालों से there is continuously criticism on Jawaharlal Nehru. Majority of the current problems are being attributed to Jawaharlal Nehru because जितने भी सारे इंडिया के अभी फिलहाल के जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, ये सारे प्रॉब्लम्स जवाहरलाल नेहरू की वजह से हैं, ऐसे कुछ एक वर्ग के लोगों का कहना है. तो उसी से रिलेटेड यहाँ पर मेंशन किया है he criticized him, but the criticism should be constructive, not aimed at distorting his vision. So Jawaharlal Nehru had a vision. Jawaharlal Nehru की शुरुआत के 15 सालों में उन्होंने इंडिया के लिए एक विजन रखा हुआ था. So what was his vision? That's what you need to know. So as a UPSC aspirant, if you want to understand the first 15 years and 20 years of independence of India, that what we have done in the first 15 to 20 years immediately after the independence, you can get it from this article. So GS paper 1 के लिए ये आपके लिए useful रहेगा, and this will be also useful for you for writing the essay. So please read this article, that what Nehru's contribution is there in India immediately after the independence. The diaspora movement. Is there any topic with respect to diaspora in UPSC syllabus in mains exam? I'm audible? Hello, can you all hear my voice? Is there any topic in GS paper 3 with respect to diaspora? Saima.
Yes, sir. Indian diaspora.
Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora से पहले कुछ लिखा हुआ है that you know the policies and politics of the developed and developing countries and its impact on Indian diaspora. मतलब जो डेवलप्ड और डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज के जो पॉलिसीज होते हैं या फिर वहां की जो पॉलिटिक्स होते हैं उसका इंडिया के डायस्पोरा पे क्या इम्पैक्ट होता है वो देखा गया, राइट? सो now Indian Prime Minister is going to visit America, and we know that we have a huge amount of Indian diaspora in America, and Indians have become so important in America. Not only that, that Indians have also achieved a political success as well. In some of the countries, they have become ministers, they have become president, they have become vice president, and majority of the white collar diaspora, like doctors, engineers, have been shifted from India to America. So that's what Syed Jafar Islam is saying, that who is the spokesperson of BJP. This article has been written by him in the context of Indian Prime Minister visit to America. So as per him, it is a diaspora movement. The political and economic rise of Indian Americans. मुझे लगता है लास्ट ईयर की मेंस एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था, and discuss the change in the nature of the Indian diaspora in the recent past. ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछा था. तो उसमें हम ये देख रहे हैं कि पिछले कुछ दिनों से इंडियन डायस्पोरा क्या है, इंडियन डायस्पोरा का पॉलिटिकल एंड इकोनॉमिक राइज उन कंट्रियों में बहुत ज्यादा हो गया है जहां जहां भी वो जाकर बसे हुए हैं. So political and economic rise of the Indian Americans underlines the Prime Minister Modi's outreach. As per him, it is because of Prime Minister Modi that the Indian Americans political and economic उनकी जो rise है वो अमेरिका में इस वजह से हो रहा है because of Prime Minister's outreach. So why he feels, of course, he is a spokesperson of BJP. He will explain. He will only support the Prime Minister Modi's approach. As a UPSC aspirant, you just need to read it out, and you need to know that how the political and economic, rise of the Indians is happening in America. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Now let's move to the next page. Explain page is having the same India and US trade and strategy. India US के बीच में trade कैसे होता है और what is the strategy. So whenever you are studying the bilateral relationship between two countries, you need to focus on 4 to 5 important aspects of the bilateral relationship. One is strategic relationship, trade relationship, then defense relationship, then you also need to know the cultural relationship. ये सारी चीजें आपको ध्यान में रखनी होती है. तो यहाँ पर आज के एक्सप्लेन पेज में इंडिया और यूएस के बीच में ट्रेड कैसे होता है एंड व्हाट इज द स्ट्रेटेजी. यूएस इज वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट ट्रेडिंग पार्टनर ऑफ इंडिया. So that's what you need to know. Can anybody tell me, we import more from US or we export more to US? US हम ज्यादा import करते हैं, US को हम ज्यादा export करते हैं.
We export more to US.
We export more to US. And what we export more to US?
Sir, mostly we export services to them.
Right. तो जब हम export services करते हैं, हम ज्यादा export करते हैं, तो of course इंडिया और यूएस के रिलेशंस अच्छा रहना ये इंडिया के फेवर में है. because we earn foreign exchange reserve, we earn dollars in this trade relationship. So this trade relationship is a positive trade relationship, right? So that's what it is explained here. At the heart of the Indo-US strategic partnership is deepening economic engagement and a resolve on both sides to elevate the bilateral relationship to global strategic partnership. जहां पर यूएस इंडिया का बायलैटरल रिलेशनशिप का टेबल दिया हुआ है. What India export to the US, what US export to India. That's what you can say that India export क्या करता है US को, merchandise services, and what US exports to India same merchandise and services. So total bilateral merchandise services का उन्होंने यहाँ पर गैप दिया हुआ है 159.01 2021 का डेटा है. This is what is explained here. This 159 US dollar is the trade which is happening between India and US. Why cyclone Biparjoy path was difficult to predict? So Biparjoy का जो path है वो predict करना क्यों difficult था? That has been explained here. Today's economy page, surplus liquidity in banking drops to 43%. तो बैंकिंग में जो सरप्लस लिक्विडिटी थी वो 43% से क्या हो गई है, ड्रॉप हो गई है ड्यू टू एडवांस टैक्स पेमेंट. एज वी ऑल नो, यस्टरडेज न्यूज़पेपर में हमने देखा था कि